Seth, talk to me about Merlin Ventures specifically. Why are you guys so awesome? I know you guys have this really cool community. I'd love for you just to dig in and explain it to our listeners.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we first started out, we were very focused on the value add of our sister company, Merlin Cyber, around the federal market. And that is still very much a value add for companies as they get to the later stages, right? And that includes things like Constellation, our FedRAMP managed service, to help them even get into the federal market. But I think if you talk to most of our companies today, it really comes down to what do we do at the earliest stages to help them get to the point where they can start to look at those bigger markets like government. So it really is things like, how do we build a community of security experts in the US and around the world that want to work with early stage technology, that are interested in giving feedback and advising CEOs. And that really lets us help our companies in ways that we couldn't before and that other VCs can't. And what we've seen now is a great cycle where, because we have this great community and we can use it to help our portfolio companies, that feedback builds on itself. And it both attracts additional members to the community, but it also helps us get into really interesting new portfolio companies. And so, we just invested in a company recently that's still in stealth. So I can't tell you about it yet, but it was a very competitive deal. A lot of VCs were fighting over it. And they ended up making room for us because they talked to one of our portfolio CEOs and said, which VC was the most helpful to you? And they said, Merlin. And so they ended up, bringing us into the round, because I know I have this conversation with a lot of folks who are not familiar with VC. People assume that venture capital is just handing out money and trying to pick the winners, right? And what it really comes down to is having the winners pick you, right? Getting into those competitive deals that everybody's fighting over, that have the strongest founding team, that have the strongest ideas. It's convincing them that you are worth having in that round. And as we iterate on this over and over, work with more companies, that gets easier and easier.